Hello you bearded bastards, and welcome back once again to Scorchfountain, Scorchfountain, where currently it is the 15th of Slate 1171, right at the beginning of our 8th year here in the fortress, which is really pretty amazing, I'd say. We have already accomplished a whole lot here in the fortress, but we have so much left to do. And I'll tell you what, I'm feeling pretty darn positive about it, really. Now that we have most of our essentials carved away, we could start work on the little features. And this place is really going to start getting cleaned up pretty quickly, I hope. Really, when you get down to it, it's still pretty darn messy. All these rocks and gems just scattered around all over the place. I know we haven't done anything with them yet, but just relax, okay? Again, we're still trying to get things sorted out. It's going to be done before long. Now, although I'm feeling pretty positive, I should also mention that we are in a terrible amount of danger currently. Like right now, an extreme amount of danger. Because you gotta remember, our sneaky hallway over here is now open. When those undead show up again, they'll be able to come straight in. We have not yet walled it up. I'm feeling pretty cocky right now, which is just terribly foolish when you get down to it. Extremely foolish. We have some weapon traps in the hall here, which will be able to deal with those undead to some degree, but I don't think they're going to be very effective at all. We're trying to get some more in there. I think if undead attack, we can wall up this hallway though, in a pinch. We'll see what happens. We're currently trying to make more mechanisms so we can put more traps in here, hoping to line this whole corridor with them eventually. We'll get it sorted out in time, and while we do, there are some other bits of news here to discuss. A whole bunch actually, so get comfortable. First up, some dwarves. Right here we have Obak, Doc Ironwood, former captain of the guard. Yeah, we took him out of the military entirely. He obviously can't handle it. And with the loss of our chief medical dwarf, Fisher, I figured, what the hell? There's no better time for him to resume his medical duties, and I'm hoping his mood starts to look up. It'd be a shame to lose this guy. Something that could help his mood is that down here, we're working on a new hospital. It's just under our main fortress area. It should end up working out pretty well. I have these little nooks in the walls here for beds, and there's plenty of room for storage for chests, splints and crutches, all that sort of stuff. There's some well access down here, and overall this is a much better setup than our old hospital. Much better. It should be done before long. Back on the subject of our military, remember that we just recently got a big migrant wave, and are now up to 88 total dwarves in the fortress, and we had ended up using a large number of those dwarves to fill out our ranks. We have the Blue Bows, which still has 10 members, but now we have 2 other squads as well, all equipped with copper armor and flails, and we allowed them to name themselves whatever the hell they want. So we have our main flail dwarf squad here, the Dreamy Urns. They're led by Cadal, and I don't believe they have all the equipment they need currently, but we're working on it. Winks is up in the forge right now making some new stuff. And then we have our other squad, the Warm Basements. A very, very strange name. But hey, whatever, to each their own. We're getting them equipment right now, and then we're going to set them to training a whole bunch. That'll help us out in a siege big time, just in case those traps aren't enough. Moving on a bit here, something I'd like to touch on is Moldath, Beardless, our Mare Necromancer, who is still not doing very well at all, for all the same reasons I mentioned before. Just little things. But one of the biggest reasons he's so unhappy, I believe, is that he can't have access to alcohol due to being an undead creature. But we're going to try to sort that out. One thing we could do is put him in a tavern where he could be served alcohol. Essentially, a tavern keep would go up and force him to drink alcohol. But if we did that in our main area, in the Scorching Hall up here, well, there's no guarantee that he would get served. There'd have to be a bunch of downtime with a bunch of dwarves in here, and it would just kind of be a mess. So what I'm thinking of doing is going to his office here, and what we did is carved a room underneath, right down here. And I'm going to make this a personal tavern for the guy. Just a place where he can come and kind of relax. We're going to get it stocked with drinks, put some nice statues and stuff in there. And then when it's all done, I'm going to lock him in there, which will be fine because he doesn't really need access to food and drinks, that sort of stuff. Well, not to survive anyways. The problem arises when we have to appoint a tavern keep though. And so the best option I could think of is to assign an undead tavern keep. And who better for that task than the silent Aral. He is a carpenter, but I don't know, I figured what the hell. We could use him for this task. I doubt he'd mind. He doesn't seem to mind very much at all, actually. Yeah, we're gonna give that a try. After the tavern's all set up, of course. Shouldn't take too long. Moving back up to the surface, it's hard to say how much time we have left before those undead show up again. I'm hoping it's a little bit more than usual, though. That last siege was a little bit different because they were all annihilated by that forgotten beast. Normally we have like a season or so, but if we can get a season and a half or maybe 2, that'd be stellar. If you have a look down this way at the farming terrace, you can see it's coming along fairly nicely. That wall around it is all built up now, and we do have some minecart tracks that link it up to the fortress down below now. And over here on the right side, if we look up, you can see that tavern. Remember, we kind of want a tavern up here, just so the dwarves can have some sort of access to sun from time to time, in the hope that we can avoid total cave adaptation. When that happens, dwarves start to vomit and they get dizzy whenever they go outside, so yeah, we don't want that to happen. A little sun will do them good. And for a dwarf, a tavern is an excellent incentive. We have another interesting surface project right over here. What we have here is an archer tower, and you can see it's surrounded by fortifications and there is a stairway leading down. And this leads all the way down to the fortress. Well, not quite yet. We haven't dug it out yet, just for security's sake. I'm hoping that when intruders show up, they'll try to go down through this gate right here. And when they do, and we have some archers stationed up here, they can just shoot out as they pass by. I have a feeling it'll work out pretty okay. Again, those undead are pretty difficult to deal with. Much more difficult than living foes. I guess we'll see what happens. Oh, gonna take a little bit of a break here. Looks like we have a giant rat in the fortress. And I just told the blue bows to go and get the thing. We have it cornered in this residential area right here. Ooh, wow. Slammed with an arrow. Trapped in this bedroom, and it was put down. Fantastic. Now this is fascinating. A human caravan from Mang Ekul has arrived, as well as a chief treasurer. Oh, that is so good. This is the first time in 8 years we've seen another civilization. Welcome, humans, welcome. We're gonna have to make a good impression. Dwarves, find something to trade, quickly. Just trying to find something to trade here. We really don't have that much, unfortunately. We traded quite a few of our copper flails to the dwarves last year, and the rest we used in traps. And even more still were used to equip our dwarves. So yeah, we're completely out. However, there is something we could trade here. An artifact. Something I don't normally do at all. But this one here was made by Burr, the vampire. And honestly, I don't really have that much interest in keeping it. That thing's a monster, and I don't care about this artifact anymore. It was really cool, but we can use it, so whatever. Yeah, we'll get rid of it. But first, let's have a look at it just for the hell of it. Its name is Asemzatam Leshalthazor, a hornbeetle chitin amulet, and its name translates to Tube Clout, the mournful discovery. The amulet's worth 10,000. Not a lot, but enough. This is a hornbeetle chitin amulet. All craft dwarfship is of the highest quality. It is encrusted with round diorite cabochons and encircled with bands of hornbeetle chitin and oval diorite cabochons. This object menaces with spikes of diorite. And on the item is an image of emerald cut gems in diorite. Also on the item is an image of dwarves in diorite. The dwarves are striking a triumphant pose, which relates to a warhammer throwing competition held by the Abbey of Proliferation and Rain Defaults as part of the Silvery Festival in the late autumn of 202. In addition, there are 2 images of dwarves, both in schist and in diorite, and in both images the dwarves are laboring. Both images also relate to the founding of Scorchfountain. Pretty interesting. But again, it was made by a vampire, so we're okay with losing it. We'll get it brought up to the depot right as soon as we can. Really hoping these humans have something. Even if they don't, we're gonna have to trade something very nice to them, just to ensure that they keep returning. My one big fear is that the zombies will return while they're here. And if that happens, then, well, it's gonna turn into a mess out here, and the humans probably aren't going to be too happy with us. Alright, let's see here. Okay, that'll do it right there. We just got a wide selection of food, including some nice cheeses, some meats, some fish, and a whole lot of cloth and leather. Something we've been desperately needing for clothes. We've been working to produce our own for quite some time now, just because we haven't been able to trade mostly. But here we are. We got it finally, so we can start getting some new clothing. Easy enough. Okay, so I'd say we're looking actually pretty good here in the fortress at this point. Really glad we were finally able to get some clothing material. That was so important. Actually, on that subject, if you have a look over here, you can see an area we have designated to be our clothing industry wing, I guess. And here there should be more than enough space for storage and workshops and all that sort of stuff. Just gotta get it smoothed up a tiny bit in places, and then we can throw some workshops down and start producing some clothing. Oh, and this is pretty neat. Looks like the human treasurer is meeting with Thob, our broker, just to discuss what we want them to bring next year. And they do have a wide variety of items they're willing to bring too. That's pretty handy. All kinds of neat animals. They have grizzly bears and black bears too. Huh. Well, we have horned beetles, so we don't have to worry about that. Pretty cool, pretty cool. How about just a bunch of alcohol? As much as you could bring. We could use it. Need that variety. Thank you very much, humans. So far, you've been much more helpful than our own civilization, which is really sad. Oh, and would you have a look at that? Another wave of migrants has arrived. Very, very good. More hands will help ease our labor and fill our ranks. That brings us up to 97 dwarves. Just remarkable, really. And we'll be sure to get them to work just as quick as we can. On another note, looking down here in the fortress, we can see Moldath heading over here into his chambers and down into his tavern. And I'm hoping he's ready to have some nice downtime. Actually, this kind of stinks. There's a child down here too. And, well, can't really imagine an easy way to get them out of here. I guess we'll just try to lock the door and see if we can get the necromancer some alcohol. Hopefully the children will start starving to death, because then we'll have to open it up, but yeah, we'll see what happens. Okay, well, I just set the place up, so let's see what happens. We can already see Moldath kind of relaxing. In fact, it looks like he's reciting some poetry. A poem called Fairness, which is an example of the Ashen Crypt, a type of poetry, which is a poetic riddle intended to teach a moral lesson concerning death. Well, I'm hoping these children aren't too scarred by it. I imagine that could be pretty traumatic, but yeah, whatever. It'll toughen them up. Now, there are drinks in here as well as mugs. Just waiting to see if this silent here will grab some and start serving people. Well, while I wait to see if anything happens, we can have a brief look down here in our museum. We do have our first display right up here, right in the front. And you can see that it's that skull totem that we made from that forgotten beast, Dethari, looking very nice. It's up on a pedestal right now, and next to it is a slab that we have engraved. Hold up now. Unfortunately, it looks like the dead walk once again. Damn, we're making some good progress up on the surface too. Oh well. Oh, and this is interesting. We have some different types of creature here, something we haven't seen before. Distressing. Well, let's have a look. These things are called Knight's Soldiers, and they appear to be hairy humanoids with 3 stubby tails. Their hair is charcoal in color and unkempt. These creatures were first created by the dwarven necromancer Bembul Rock's murder of Snacked Dream after horrible experiments on humans and riddled taxes in the year 383. Huh. Yeah, distressing. I mean, the creatures themselves would be disturbing enough to be sure, but these ones are all rotted and falling apart and stuff, and they are looking to murder all of us dwarves. Hoping there aren't too many, then we have to remember our front gates are still open. Well, dwarves, you know what to do. Get to the fortress, please. Down into the necessary area. Alright, most of the dwarves are in the fortress now at this point. There were a bunch out on the surface, but I'm pretty confident they're in the fortress now. That being the case, we have locked up the anvil, which means the only way into the fortress now is through our main gate. Right here. Something I'm sure most of us have forgotten about at this point. We really haven't used it that much. Now, unfortunately, we have not finished our archer tower over here. It is pretty much done, but we were just in the process of replacing this door with a wall. And so, yeah, we can't use it. It's too late now anyways. You can see those hairy bastards moving past it. And through this gate down here. And so next they'll be heading down through the fortress. We had better get our archers in place, huh? And I'm still hoping that if things don't go very well, then we can get some dwarves down here just to build a quick wall. I think we'll have more than enough time if it comes down to it. Not too concerned. Time is advancing a little bit here. You can see some archers in place now. I don't think we're going to be able to get all 10 archers here, but I'll be happy if we can get at least a few here. Having a look at these traps here, you'll notice that there are quite a few in place. Again, they're not the strongest traps. Each only has a single copper flail in it, but I'm feeling pretty confident about it overall. I'm thinking it stands a good chance of being fairly successful. And here come those soldiers, working their way down. Still, they have a little bit left to go. Their rotting, shambling bodies moving slowly down our spiral hall. Yeah, we can see quite a few of our archers in place now. Hurry up, you creeps, get down here. The archers can only stay in place so long before they get too thirsty and have to go get a drink, you know? But that shouldn't be a problem. They're almost here. Ready yourselves, archers. The time to defend Scorchfountain is nigh. Here we go. Knight Soldier is now in the hallway and is being pelted with arrows that seem to be doing very little. Well, that's a shame. The first couple of them seem to be just kind of bypassing the traps for the most part. Oh, but one did just get hit, and seems to have been hit really bad actually by that flail. I think it was just the one in there, but yeah, wow, really screwed him up. Well, I mean, overall that trap, it did hit that creature a whole lot, but it doesn't look to be slowed down even slightly. Yeah, that is worrisome. Probably gonna have to get started on that wall, unfortunately. I don't really want to, but not much we could do. For now, bow dwarves, just keep doing your best. It does look like after more of those creatures get into this hall, they kind of spread out a bit, and so more of them end up walking into the traps, which is nice. It looks like one died. Okay, I'll take it, but still not quite good enough. Yeah, some of these creatures are getting pretty far down the hall now. Although, it appears that they're starting to turn around. The ones in the front anyways. Oh yeah, all of them actually. Oh geez, well I suppose that'll do it. I didn't realize we finished this wall already. That was very quick. The undead must have sensed the passage being blocked. Well, that works for us. In the meantime, keep giving them hell, archers. The more them we can kill, the quicker they'll be out of here. In fact, we might have to open up that hall again, just to get them to run through those traps once more. Well, no matter. For the time being, we're doing completely fine down here in the fortress. In fact, it's probably a good thing to be locked down here just so we could focus a bit. As I said before, we were doing quite a bit up on the surface with that farm terrace and that archer tower, and just some general defense sort of stuff. But now that we're locked underground, we can really focus on getting some clothing, something we should definitely be focusing on. And we have been. If you have looked down here, I set up some orders to make some cloth clothing. I'm going to be using plant cloth, yarn cloth, silk, leather. We've just barely gotten started, but we're rolling forward now. Pretty excited about it too. And I'm sure the dwarves are as well. The days of nudity are over. Hoping, anyways. Having a look back over here at Moldath's Tavern, for whatever reason, it does not appear to be working how it should be working. Not too sure what's going on. I don't know if just Erel is incapable of being a tavern keeper or what, but he does not seem to be performing his duties at all. We do have drinks and mugs, so I'm not too sure what's going on exactly. But it's a little frustrating. They're socializing, they're both socializing, so that's something, but not what we're looking for. Well, no matter. We'll just give them some time down here and see what happens. Oh? What is this? Up on the surface. There's a damned one here. Not part of that siege. Very intriguing. This is a capybara man damned one, and they're a traveler. That is interesting. I'll bet they're here because of our temples. We've been making a whole bunch lately. Shifting different locations around, taverns and such. Word probably got out thanks to those humans. Well, this is a pretty unfortunate time to come visiting. Well, I suppose we could open up our front door up here and let them in real quick. All of those zombies have worked their way down underground here, as per usual. So they're pretty occupied. Yeah, you know what? Let's go for it. Just hoping they make their way to the fortress and don't just stand around like a moron. What are you doing, man? You want to come in or what? You're going to be out of luck if you don't start making your way to us. Well, you know, I'm not terribly sure what the hell they're doing. It kind of looks like they are sauntering on over. I will note too, just in case we're wondering, this character is unarmed. No armor, no nothing. Just clothing. And that's part of the reason I feel so safe letting them in. I'm pretty sure they're just a traveler. A damned one, sure, but remember, that doesn't necessarily mean they're evil. Oh my goodness, would you hurry up? What the hell are you doing? Really taking their time making their way over here. Almost, come on, hurry up. And they're in, okay. We've locked the door behind them. I'm curious to see what they're doing here exactly. This is very interesting. Alright, yeah, it's taken a while, but they are down in the fortress now, just kind of wandering about now through our farm area. And, well, it looks like he heard about the Tomb of Drinking, which was the name that we had given to Moldath's Tavern. Well, it's currently inaccessible, so, I don't know, maybe make your way to our meeting hall? It is a tavern there. We'll have to keep eyes on this character, just in case they're not up to any good here. But I'm feeling pretty positive about him. Time will tell. Oh, and what the hell is this? Another guest. An old man. Yeah, not too sure what you're doing here, but sorry to tell you Moldath's Tavern is off limits. You can come in if you like, but I'm not sure there's going to be much for you to do here. We'll just give them a second, and hopefully after they chat with one of our dwarves, we'll get a better idea of what they're doing here. Well, it's saying this old man has come to check out the Scorching Hall. It's not open to the public, so I'm not too sure why you came here. Nevertheless, you could feel free to make yourself at home as long as you stay out of trouble. We don't need any troublemakers here, that much is certain. Though, much like that damned one, this old man has no weapons or armor or anything, just clothing. So even if they wanted to cause trouble, I don't think they could do very much. Alrighty, time is ticking ever forward here in Scorchfountain. Really not a whole heck of a lot has gone on. We're still locked up inside, as the siege is ongoing. We have not yet tried to open up the gates again, because again, we do have a ton of stuff to focus on inside, so it's probably for the best anyways. You'll notice here looking around that the majority of the fortress is now completely smooth. Isn't that nice looking? Yeah, zooming in here, would you have a look at that? Smooth temples, a smooth museum, all these halls and quarters looking nice. Yeah, pretty much everything is good to go now. And it's about damn time too, isn't it? Yeah, being locked up inside has done us a whole world of good, I think. Speaking of doing good, over here you can see Obak, Doc Ironwood, who is now completely 100% stress-free. Isn't that good to see? Yeah, the guy's doing absolutely fine now. It looks like this downtime was really good for his mindset. Yeah, he's been relaxing, taking care of a few injuries in the hospital. Nothing too severe, thankfully. And yeah, his mental state made a really quick recovery. And I knew he would, too. Good going, you bastard. And of course, now I'm sure you're curious about Moldath, the Beardless, who is still pretty stressed out. He does have some new clothing now. It's not all completely new, but for the most part, his clothing looks pretty darn good. We have him down here right now making some crafts. He's been pretty bored lately, so I thought this might be able to help him. It has helped a tiny bit, but still not quite enough. I really do want to get a drink into this guy, but it's been difficult. If he's given any downtime, it seems he wants to go to the temple and worship Ust, the goddess of death. In fact, I had to get rid of the temple so he wouldn't spend all of his time in there. I just kind of wish he'd go to the Scorching Hall and relax in there for a while. But I don't know, maybe he just doesn't feel like it right now. Gonna keep making some bookcases for a little bit here, and then we'll give it another try. Hang in there, Beardless. Having a look out here on the surface, it is now the 16th of Limestone, 1172, our 9th year, and I just realized the siege is over. It is autumn now too, so I'm hoping to see some traders before long. We've had no dealings with the dwarves lately, which is a little bothersome. Also, I suppose because we're doing so good in the fortress, we can come out here and work on our defenses a bit too. That'd be nice. Oh, and speak of the devil, a caravan from Kulat Gash Kods has arrived. The dwarves, that is. Welcome, welcome. Wonderful. Looks like they got 4 wagons this time, and hopefully a whole lot of items we can purchase. Alright, the anvil is open. Get out there, dwarves. Oh, also our visitors too. They've been locked up down here for quite some time now. Yeah, it looks like they're trying to leave. Well, it was nice having you, and we hope you return. Tell your friends. Oh, and once again we have some new migrants. Very, very cool. Hoping for a whole bunch more. Not bad. Up to 102 now. And now it's time to do some trading. We're looking to unload some more copper flails. Alright, that'll do right there. Got a whole bunch of cloth, both wool and silk. We're able to produce plant cloth pretty easily here now. And we got some leather too, a whole bunch. It's cheap enough. We also got some drinks too. But in payment we've lost all of our copper flails, every single last one. Which is kind of a damn shame because I was hoping to get some of these books. Gotta start filling up our library, you know? But it's fine. We gotta do what we gotta do. After we get our clothing situation totally figured out, then we'll worry about that sort of stuff. Ungsa das Parambu Tatarasna has come. A giant humanoid monster with 2 heads. Here we go, dwarves. A worthy opponent. A titanic creature, lumbering up the volcanic slopes. It's headed towards Scorchfountain now, and I'm hoping the dwarves are making their way down to the fortress. I am hoping this creature doesn't put up as much of a fight as Dathari did, and I'm feeling pretty confident about that. Please note that this creature is wielding a pair of artifacts. A spear and a mitten. Oh no. But as it crests the hill, it has spotted an engineer and is moving in. It begins pounding the dwarf. Well, that'd be our first death due to this creature. Not good. That dwarf didn't stand a chance, but they were just a civilian, suffering from sun sickness too. That explains their slow movement. Back again to this creature wielding its pair of artifacts, a mitten and a spear. On its left hand is a mitten, Zasitazkab, knife incense, a large yak leather mitten, very large from the looks of it, and strapped to its back is a weapon, a steel spear, known as Gathdazengathak, splattered caves. A steel spear encircled with bands of oval sylvite cabochons, and that has a number of kills to its name, and in case you're wondering, was used to kill that dwarf just then. Now, okay, well, I was feeling pretty positive about this upcoming fight here, but that steel spear makes things a lot more complicated. A weapon like that could easily pierce copper armor. No problem whatsoever. Now, we are being totally risky right now. This creature's moving in, and as it is, we have sent the warriors out, in the hopes that we can repel it, and I still think we can. Holding up for just a second here, I thought for sure we had more dwarves out on the surface, but it doesn't look like we do. There is this one sun-sickened dwarf here, our dungeon master, trying desperately to make their way back up the anvil, into safety, really hoping they can make it in time. Let's go, you dwarf, while they've begun panicking. Keep going, you, get through that door. Almost. And they're through. The door is closed, and here we can see one of our bow dwarves who is just about to head outside. It's probably good that didn't happen though. Alright, I'm gonna tell you what, change of plans here. We've locked up these doors, and I have called off the warriors. Now I'm just hoping they all make their way back down to the fortress in time. Okay, turn around you ninnies, let's go. Okay, what we're going to do is build a wall here, and assuming we get up in time, I'm hoping the Etin will go down through our main entrance. It'll have to go through those traps down there, and hopefully we can get some bowmen in place too. And as long as they can pelt it just a couple times with arrows, I'm thinking it'll go down pretty easy. We'll see what happens though. We gotta get this wall up first. Okay, it took a little bit of doing, but the wall is up now. done deal. And it looks like the Etten went running off towards the main gate, I would imagine. Oh, following Unksa again, down here in the valley between the mounds, and it looks like there's a flail dwarf out here as well, who I can't imagine is about to do very good. Oh no, not at all. Just pounded by the brute. It's probably for the best that we didn't send out all the flail dwarves. We haven't peeked in on them in a while, but we do have 20 flail dwarves, all with masterwork copper armor and flails, and they do have a fair bit of skill on them as well. And so I think if they teamed up, they could take this creature out easy enough. Anyways, it looks like Unksa is headed towards the fortress now. Just hoping we can get some bow dwarves down here in time, but I don't think that's gonna happen. That creature moves pretty fast. Yeah, here it comes, heading on down. Getting close too, I believe. Gonna try to get our remaining flail dwarves in place too, just so they can try to intercept it when it gets down here. Yeah, you know, I don't think those blue bows are gonna make it in time, not at all. There are none in the area. I don't know what the hell they're doing. Frustrating. Oh my goodness, what is this? A vile force of darkness has arrived. Really? It's getting to be a mess up there, huh? Well, we don't have time to worry about that right now. The Etten is down at the fortress, and, well, I was hoping it would trip into these traps, but I don't think that's gonna happen. Having a little bit of a look over to the side there, I don't know why these soldiers were headed down towards the thing. Got a little overexcited, I guess. Get the hell back to the fortress, you dum-dums. Jeez. Just foolish. Following Unksa once more. I think it just fell into that trap right there. Oh, that's incorrect, actually. It looks like it dodged out of the way. Unfortunate. Well, it is headed in right now. The Etten is still making its way down, and I'm going to speed things up just a bit here. Just like this. Here it comes. It is once again turning back around and charging in. Oh, we have a flail dwarf here who just pushed it off this ledge. It's going to have to start back at the beginning, which is probably good. That being said, it looks pretty intent on coming to the fortress now. Alright, dwarves, are we going to be ready for this? Not feeling super positive after that Forgotten Beast attack. If this damn Etten didn't have a spear, I'd feel a lot better about it, but not the case. Well, let's just see what happens. Prepare yourselves, dwarves. It's coming. Here comes the Etten. The flail dwarves are moving in a large group. Here they go, fighting the creature now, trying to encircle it. One of the dwarves is wounded. Another is enraged. They have the Etten pushed up against the wall right now and are just covering the thing. There is a Marks dwarf there taking some shots. Dwarves are taking some serious hits, and it does not look like that Etten is even slightly wounded. Oh no. It would seem that the Etten is greatly skilled with that spear. Oh, but it just took a hit. It's down now. Terribly overexerted. Alright, that's gonna be it for the Etten, I think. Just keep bashing it, dwarves, we got this. There we go, yeah, beat the hell out of it. It can't survive. Dwarves are biting and smashing with their flails. It's still getting arrows shot into it, and yet it's hanging on. Go down, will you? Gonna speed things up a bit here. Come on, kill the thing. We still have that siege working its way down, remember. Oh my goodness, let's do it. Yeah, it's not gonna survive, but let's hurry it up, will you? Okay, and the Etten has breathed her last. Overall, I still think we're doing pretty good. Looks like we lost 2 of our fighting dwarves in that combat, and actually one of them was that one that we lost up on the surface. There are some wounds here too, but I don't believe any of them are life-threatening. Another bit of very good news. Rejoice as they may, the dwarves of Scorchfountain had best remember that a horde of screeching, devilish invaders is now making its way towards the fortress. Will they be able to overcome this new and terrifying threat? Or will the dwarves of Scorchfountain soon be hung in Oost's endless starfields? How's it going, you bearded bastards? Here we are once again at the end of the episode just to explain some behind the scenes things. But, you know, I'm not too sure we have that much, really, for this episode. I'm trying to think. Well, I'd like to talk about our upset dwarves. We have Doc Ironwood, who is doing 100% fine now. Some new clothing and some downtime really worked wonders on the guy, which is excellent. But then we have Moldath, who's completely unchanged, even with his new clothing and a ton of downtime, so I'm not too sure what we can even do about the guy. We tried that whole tavern thing, that didn't seem to work. Couldn't get any of the tavern keeps to serve him, and there's an additional behind the scenes note. I did try a couple different people as tavern keeps as well. I'm not too sure what's going on. Gonna keep fiddling around with it in the background, and I'm just hoping we can get it figured out at some point. On a related note, thinking back to Honeystoker spoilers, if you're still watching through that, 3, 2, 1. We had Atyr in that series worshipping her goddess Ifin. Pretty much the same exact way Moldath is worshipping Oost right now. Almost like obsessively. And I'm not too sure what the deal is with that. It's strange. Both of them are undead creatures. Atyr was a vampire. Moldath is a necromancer. I don't know if that's a bug or what, but like, neither of them would stop unless I got rid of the temple. And, you know, I'm talking like seasons worth of worship too. Moldath was down there for quite some time. I really don't want to lose the guy. I really don't. That would suck. But again, just gonna keep fiddling around with it in the background. We'll get something sorted out. Anyways, that'll pretty much do it, I guess. My bearded bastards, I thank you for watching. I truly do hope you enjoyed yourselves, and I certainly hope to see you next time, here in Athlestizafon, Scorchfountain. And until then, you bearded bastards.
Thank you.